What is up, everybody? We are calling all nerds, and you have answered the call, the beacon in the sky, if you will. We are your friendly neighborhood hosts that talk about everything within the entertainment zeitgeist, and we are so excited to talk about some amazing stuff tonight, including both the start, really, of the Summer Game Fest, which is kind of the start of just a whole week of different gaming conferences, different showcases that are going to be occurring pretty much until the end of June. PlayStation initially started us off, but it was kind of a big flop, which I'm sure we'll also get into. As well as I'm very interested in talking with Tyler about what we think is potentially going to be the game of the year. We're about now halfway through the year. Tears of the Kingdom has come out. Final Fantasy 16 is on the horizon. We've got a few other big games coming out before the end of the year. And it's very quickly... at least to me, it's very quickly shown that like Hogwarts Legacy is not the game of the year.
Yeah,
it was a fun game, but it was definitely not. I would say like AAA action of like
not on that level.
No, unfortunately not. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about it, man. And you haven't really been able to see any of the announcements from Summer Game Fest. So I'm really excited to kind of surprise you with some of these things.
Yeah, it should be good. I've been pretty deep into a new job, so I just haven't had too much time. I know what the schedule is. I know that there is going to be like Xbox doing a thing. I want to say Sunday, and then because that's their Xbox thing plus their Starfield thing, which we'll more than likely get into a little bit later. So I know that there's the schedule going on. I kind of forgot that PlayStation kicked things off. I think I was playing disc golf or something like that whenever that was going on. I completely forgot that was even happening. But you didn't text me any links, so I was like, okay, nothing really happened. Usually I know something's good because Max will send me like a YouTube video or something of like a new trailer. I got nothing that day.
Right. I will mention later on as we go, kind of like I would say like the big announcements, but there really wasn't that many from the PlayStation Showcase, which was really surprising and honestly a little concerning in what they were kind of talking about in some of these things, but we'll get to that. But I guess I wanted to ask you, man, do we want to do a question of the day like we normally do, or do we want to just like get down into the news?
If you got one, I say let's do a question. I'm down with that.
All right. So just kind of like how we were talking about what Julie was watching, what would you say is your show of the year so far for 2023 of like everything you guys watched?
Show of the year. Man, that's always like so hard.
I know.
Like Ted Lasso was really good. It was my first experience watching it. I dove right into season 3. Did not watch 1 or 2. And I really liked it, which I feel like shows shows something good about the show. You know, the fact that I completely missed the first 24-ish episodes of the entire show, and then was still satisfied with like the last 12. So that's definitely up there. I've really I think like ones that I've just kind of like watched alone that I liked a little bit more just because I'm more into the action scene has been John Krasinski's Amazon show. Was it Jack Ryan? Yeah, Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, yeah.
I just like I really enjoy those. I think those are really fun.
The Tom Clancy stories.
Yeah, and like they're not like the best thing in the world by no means, but I like him as an actor. I think he's really good. I've been pretty captivated. Season 1 is still my favorite. Season 2, I gave it a second try, and it turned out to be a little bit better than my initial run of it. And then season 3 was really good. I actually like season 3. And then season 4 just got announced. So the cool thing was, I feel like season 2 and 3 was like a decent break. So season 1 came out in 2018. Season 2 came out in 2019. And then season 3 didn't happen until 2022. So I was kind of like, and then it ended at the end of 2022.
Okay.
And so the premiere of season 4 starts June 2023. So like they really like between 3 and 4 was pretty quick.
Yeah, they can turn that around fast.
Yeah, and it's going to be another they usually do like 6 episodes. I think the last season had 8, but I want to say season 2 only had a couple. Oh no, it also I'm looking at it right now. So season 2, 3 had 8. Oh, so they've all had 8, and then season 4 they're ending on just 6 episodes.
Wow.
So I guess that could be like maybe like why they're ending it so quick. Yeah. So I would say that's been it for me this year so far.
Nice. I like that. I've found lately that shows that have just 8 episodes a season, I've been able to digest more of. I kind of like that, like eight episodes of like 60-minute, like higher class of show. Like
Yeah.
I tend to enjoy that more now.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
What's been your show of the year so far?
Yeah, so I think so far my show of the year has been this show called Barry on HBO.
Oh, I remember you talking about that one.
Yeah, and they just ended the show. Like, the whole thing is finished with season 4. And just like with Jack Ryan, they are 8 episodes a season, but they're only minutes. So it's like, it's a very short. Like, I think what was great was I kind of jumped on the show at the beginning of this year. And so I got to kind of watch it all the way through without having to wait between seasons.
Yeah.
And I got through it very quickly because it was basically just like watching like a 30-minute comedy, and you could like watch the first season in literally like 4 hours kind of thing, like over the course of like a week or something like that. But it was really good. Just very funny. Like, it's a dark comedy. I think I mentioned a little bit of like how it's played by Bill Hader. Who I really enjoy as like both a comedic and serious actor. I think he has incredible acting skills. I was super impressed by him within the show because he also directed many of the episodes in the final season himself, and so like I think he has a great eye for cinematography and for direction of a scene. Like this guy's really impressive. And I've always thought he was really funny, but I've just never really seen him take it to this level of like serious acting kind of thing. And I think what really drew me to the show was it's basically just like a very high level premise of it. It's about a man who comes out from Afghanistan with severe PTSD. This terrible thing happens to him during the war. And he doesn't really know how to socialize anymore. And he basically just runs into the wrong person and becomes a hitman, or basically like he just like uses his like sharpshooter skills from the war to like take out bad guys. Like he's hired to take out bad guys.
Yeah.
And like he just doesn't want to do it anymore. And in the first episode, one of his hits or potential hits is an actor in LA who goes to this like acting class. He's very not good at acting, but they become friends. And then Barry decides he wants to be an actor. And so it's basically like a hitman who's trying to become an actor and make it in LA, in Hollywood and everything like that. And it's absolutely hilarious. It's very much a show about, are you able to change your nature? Are you able to redeem yourself as a person by trying to do something different, like getting away from these things? And it's an incredible show. I really enjoy it. It's not for everyone for sure. But I like these kind of unique stories. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Did you find it just by browsing HBO's app one day?
Yeah, just kind of on HBO, I was like trying to look to see what kind of shows are around, and Barry showed up, and I saw like a snippet of a scene where it was him blocking and doing a scene on stage with a stage partner, and it just kind of like was so realistic to what doing plays is like in high school and in college, that I really was drawn to it because I was like, oh man, I missed that. Like that's so much fun. Like they're doing like those like noise exercises and stuff like that. And, like,
just like connected.
Yeah, like saying the same phrase over and over again, but with different intonations. And like he's like learning about himself as he's diving into acting. And it's really funny. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot.
Nice. No, that sounds really cool. I
Cool,
know
man.
that is on the list to hopefully get to eventually.
The ever growing list.
Yeah, really. That is so true.
Oh, crazy, man. Well, cool. Well, how do you want to jump into this, dude? I know that,
Yeah.
I'm going to probably lead the conversation a little bit, but I definitely want to get your takes on certain things.
Yeah. I was trying to think like you haven't gotten Zelda, have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I'm not yet.
I think then I was just gonna say a brief thing just to kind of, just to chat about that. And then I say we just
Yeah.
like dive into the list of, kind of what's been announced already. And then what does the rest of the week and weekend, I guess just weekend kind of have in store for us.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think like most of the shows end on Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
There's probably
yeah.
a long weekend of things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so with Zelda, I have chatted with Max about this a good bit. Me and him have like a pretty similar feeling about Breath of the Wild. We liked it in the sense that like we like Zelda, we enjoy them. Now, I haven't played as many of the Zelda games as Max had, but just like the couple that I've played just made me really enjoy just kind of the series. And me and him both feel that like getting Breath of the Wild was worth it in the sense that it helps promote their company of making more Zelda games. But we did not love it like most people did. Wouldn't say we hated it, just say we liked it. It was fine. There was some emptiness to it. We both kind of felt like the graphics, like they were okay-ish. They're fine, but they, not the greatest thing like some people said. So I feel
like the Pokemon open world games a little bit.
yeah.
Definitely a little more defined, I would say, but it's that just like pastel, not kind of blurry.
Yeah, very blurry.
That
Yeah.
that I wasn't a fan of. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a pretty similar baseline, and I say that to start the conversation just because, and I'll try to keep this as brief as I can. It's like this Zelda to me is just completely different. Like I'm really enjoying the game. I'm like diving in really deep into it. I'm finding myself exploring a lot more, paying attention to some of the side quests. Kind of, enjoying the main story quest is pretty engaging.
Nice.
And all the like customization is so much fun. Being able to actually like craft your own vehicles and craft not even just actual things, just these monstrosities that you can create using fans and rods and rockets. And it's just wild. There is a lot of fun, almost sandbox like things that you can do in this game, but then as well there is also just a ton of, I don't know, just like, and I don't know if I just played Breath of the Wild wrong, but it just feels like there's a lot more of the world alive in this one.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah, like you're not seeing other NPCs like constantly per se, but you are seeing them a lot more often. There is like one NPC in particular who you help keep a signpost like standing so he can kind of nail it to the ground. And like you see him like all over the place in like the most random areas. He could be at the highest mountain or in the lowest fissure, and he's just like everywhere. So you like see him a lot. There's people who walk around and will say like, hey, are you looking for treasure? Let me mark your map of where I've heard there's cool treasure at.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of mini bosses. I have pretty much fought all of the mini bosses at this point. The main storyline it's cool. Max said it sounds pretty much kind of like Majora's Mask, where there's 4 main zones that you have to go help a weather crisis out with. So it is similar in that sense, but it is, it's fun. It's fine. I feel like I actually enjoy it a little bit more than I did in Breath of the Wild storyline. Not really sure why. It just is like really good.
I think part of that, at least from what I've heard, is there's a lot more cutscenes and a lot more story just constant throughout
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, whereas it was not so like that in Breath of the Wild. I think most of the story that you got from Breath of the Wild was from these like, from what I've heard, or like from like finding these like hidden memory banks or something like that.
Yeah, the memory banks are awesome. They're so cool.
And so they're still in Tears of the Kingdom, but like, do they still tell the majority of the story, or?
Yeah, it tells a lot of like, because there is an aspect of the game of where, like any, I don't know, Nintendo titles really like to do this. You know, Zelda and Link get separated. The main character and the other character get separated, right? And there is the separation in this one involves time, and so there is. Obviously, Link is in one time, Zelda's in another time. I won't say more than that, but the like little memory things that you find show a little bit more of Zelda's time that she is in. At least from, I mean, I found like 5 or so of them. And so I'm pretty sure that's kind of how it's like laying itself out. So the weird thing is, like, if you kind of find them, like you find them randomly throughout, you might be able, I don't know if like, if you follow like the quest itself, it might get you in like a more structured, because when you just find them around, you could get like memory number 12, but have not seen memories 3 through 11. And you're like, what the heck is happening? And then you'll see memory 2 and you're like, oh, okay. And then you'll get memory 6 and you're like confused again. That part's a little weird because it is open world. So you can obviously find where, you know, you can do anything you want. You could probably find the last cutscene, you know, if you really tried hard enough. So that part's a little funny, but it's not bad in the sense of like you're completely lost. There's just a few things that when like one of the memories that I found, I already pretty much figured out what the ending was about. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. It was like my 3rd memory bank that I found. And when I saw what was happening in there, I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I know what's about to happen now. And so I was like, you know, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't, spoilers to me does not fully matter. So I Googled specifically, it was a very like, I don't know the full ending, but this one specific piece, I was like, you know, blank, 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 blank. And I got a yes as the answer. And I was like, yeah, I thought so. It was just a little awkward. I was like, I don't think I was supposed to really piece that together right now. So and it seems like a pretty major plot point that I got exposed to early on. So, you know, there's some quirks to the game being open world, but the depths is really fun. I think it's the best part of it. The Sky Islands are cool. They're just not enough of them, in my opinion. They're very small. There's one massive one, and there's not like Sky Islands. There's a lot of like, you remember in Mario 64 or like maybe Sunshine. I don't know if 64 had it. But you know, in Sunshine, when you would sometimes go into the M and it would bring you, like, you would lose Flood and you had to be Mario in, like, usually space, but it was like floating rocks. And it
was just like a platform challenge kind of thing of like get from one end to the other kind of deal.
Every main storyline, you have to go into the sky to fix the weather thing. And they all have Sky Islands, quote unquote, that are all platforms in this. Well, actually, no, one is in the depths, but the other 3, their Sky Islands are just like a Mario like platforming thing that you go around. So it's not like its own ecosystem. I think I've seen one, there might be like 2. I'm not actually 100% sure. There's still a lot of the map to discover for me, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more personally. So that part was like just a tad unfortunate, but the depths are really cool. And Hyrule does feel different, which is nice. Like, it doesn't feel like it's the same map per se. Now, I didn't put like 100+ hours into Breath of the Wild, so maybe for some it does feel like, oh man, it's the same stuff all over again. So I mean, so it's like, I got to Breath of the Wild right before the final fight, so I had seen all the main, the main towns in Breath of the Wild, and it was like fun revisiting them. I enjoyed it at least, but the weather effects made it feel different enough to where it was like fine.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a really good game. So far, it has now reached my Game of the Year spot because I did not think I would be playing a Zelda game as much as I have. So that has been a really pleasant surprise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And have you gotten the official like piggyback guide yet for it, like the collector's guide?
Oh man, it got pushed back. It was supposed to come. Yeah, it was supposed to come June 15th or something like that, and Amazon just informed me it's not coming until July, and I was like, "Dang, man!" So I think what I'm gonna try to do, I'm probably gonna like maybe beat the main storyline without it, and then I think I'm gonna use it to kind of help. Like, I really do want to try to get all the Korok seeds, or Korok seeds, what they're called, and then I may use it to help me find all the shrines. So I still wanted to use it for like kind of getting all the collector things I need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got pushed back till July. I was kind of bummed about that.
I find that happens with the piggyback guides sometimes. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's interesting. Back in the day when the strategy guides came out for every game, they always came out usually day of the game itself. But piggyback is kind of a level above. Like they really put a lot of like intricate details and illustrations, and like they make the best strategy guides. They really, like, I have theirs from Breath of the Wild. Like, I bought it and I really love the guide, but like and that's why, like, I think at some point I'm going to push myself to like fully play Breath of the Wild, because I do want to get Tears of the Kingdom and play it and just experience it, because I have to come to terms with that. The main story of the main games of Zelda, like, this is going to be the new format of it, and so I'm like, okay, well, I get into it because Zelda's like one of my favorite series of all time. And yeah, I just remember like the Red Dead Redemption 2 guide. It took like 2 weeks or something after the game came out for that to be available, because it just takes them so much time to write it.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. Do you think that Tears of the Kingdom is going to be your Game of the Year by December? Like, or is there anything coming out in the horizon that could capture that spot?
Yeah, probably. It kind of just depends on how my Baldur's Gate 3 experience go, and that's just because I like Larry in the Studios so much.
And that comes out August 31st.
Yeah, and I could be like, I don't know, like, I didn't think I was going to like this game at all, and I did. And I haven't really been hyped for Final Fantasy, so maybe the same thing's going to happen with that too. I'm not really sure. I'm just trying to keep it pretty open now, just because this game like surprised me so much. And what surprised me too is usually, like, I like the music in video games, but I'm not like obsessed with it. But this game, man, I streamed it one day when I was doing that fundraiser stream, and so I was playing with my headphones on, and oh my gosh. I highly recommend playing Zelda with like a headset. Like, you don't have to have anything crazy. It doesn't have to be, some super awesome, like, high-end audio quality headsets. Just put some headphones in, and like the music is so good. All the like little memory banks that you unlock and stuff. Like, it does it in like a water droplet, and like the sound that it makes, and I don't know, it's just incredible. And so it's kind of like changed my experience on how to play Switch games. I feel like I'm gonna try to like play them more with headphones now, depending on like how their audio quality is. So that one really just grabbed me. So I'll be like curious to see with like Final Fantasy, because I know like Final Fantasy, obviously, like they have they have great music. They have really good cutscenes. It'll be on the PS5. Hopefully, can potentially get a better TV by then. Ours is flickering on half of the screen, so that'll be a little interesting playing Final Fantasy on it. But I know Peter's getting it, and we share, so I will be able to get it too. So maybe I'll like I don't know. Maybe I'll try the same thing. I'll just like plug my headphones into the controller just so I can have a more like personal experience with it, and just kind of like see what's gonna happen. I'm not really sure. I mean, I liked the last Final Fantasy. I liked it apparently better than most people liked it. I had a lot of fun with the last one. I thought the end.
15.
Yeah, I thought the ending was really dumb, but I liked the gameplay and stuff. I thought it was really fun. So yeah, I'm keeping an open mind. Could Zelda be it? Yeah, I think it could. I think it's gonna be probably, if I had to really guess, my game of the year is more than likely gonna be either Zelda, either Baldur's Gate 3, and then I'll put Final Fantasy in there just because it's such a huge AAA title that like it more than likely will become a contender for me. And then I would say if I had any outlier on that, of like if I had to pick a fourth that's really just out there, I'll say Starfield, and that's just because I'm a Bethesda guy. Yeah, you know, I love Bethesda. I've been trying to work for them. I've only sent them like 30 resumes in the past, so I definitely have an affinity for that company. But so who knows? Yeah, Starfield could be incredible. It could flop, but we have no idea. So I would say that could be a potential. But yeah, I think Zelda could be it come December.
Yeah, I think honestly, my gut is telling me Tears of the Kingdom is going to be like the majority of people's game of the year. I think just the quality of that game is just so high.
Yeah.
And like its scores that it's getting, which makes sense. Like when a Zelda game comes out, it normally is of the highest quality. Like it's the same with Mario games, like main story Mario.
How many
games.
main
like
story of Mario's flop?
Oh yeah, well, like I mean, like what's crazy to me is that with Nintendo games, there's really not usually that big of a story to any of their titles, right? It's more about the gameplay, more about but it just works. Like something about like even for someone like me who is such a heavy story guy, I tend to be drawn to the Marios and the Zeldas and the Metroid games. Like those are my three favorite franchises from Nintendo because their gameplay is just so tight and so perfect. Yeah. And it's just like, it just feels good playing these games that you just don't want to stop. And so, you know, for me, like I think that's why I want to just keep trying Zeldas because I don't want to give up that franchise. Yeah. But as a Final Fantasy fanboy, like I am very much a Final Fantasy guy, I think this is the first time I've been excited for a Final Fantasy game in over a decade.
Like a new one.
A new Final Fantasy. Yeah, I have not loved a Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy 12, and that came out on the PS2. Wow. Like every Final Fantasy game that has come out in between, like 13 and 15, and I know 14 Realm Reborn is like one of the best MMOs ever made now. I just, for some reason, can't get into MMOs. I want to try it at some point when I have the time to, but it's just every year they just keep adding more and more content to it, and it just seems so daunting. Yeah. But one thing that I'm really excited for is that with 16, the story and the character, like the story, the animation, it's all being run by the same guy that wrote the story for Heavensward.
Oh, that's cool. The expansion.
It's like the guy that like wrote most of the expansions for 14. I think that's why so many people are really excited for 16 is because it's that same kind of it's that same person writing the story for this one. And it's a very mature Final Fantasy. Like we've never had a rated M Final Fantasy game. So that's gonna be
I didn't know it was rated M. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this thing is gonna be violent. Like it is bloody. There's heavy cursing, like and some of the gameplay I've seen, like people are like shouting like "F you."
Dang. Oh, we have a audio cut from Max's connection is going out. He shall be back here soon, though.
Yeah, the main character. Can you hear me now? Am I back?
Yep, you're getting caught up. Yeah, you're good now.
Oh, okay. Where did you last hear me?
Talking about the guy saying like "F you, man."
Oh yeah, seen him as much. But yeah, like they're just taking a very different spin on it. And from what I've heard from people online and that I know that have like played gameplay of it, that have been sent codes to play gameplay of 16, they said it's like Game of Thrones meets Devil May Cry
Oh wow!
meets Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Wow, what a combo!
And I was like, I love all three of those things.
Yeah,
I was just like,
that's cool.
because yeah, the combat is very action oriented.
Yeah,
And it's made by the team that did Devil May Cry, which is one of my favorite action franchises. So it's very fast, very flashy. You know, it always is in these Final Fantasy games. But there's just something grounded about the story this time that just feels very different, and that's why I love Final Fantasy. Every iteration of it, they tend to go a different route and like try something new. They are very much moving further and further away from the standard turn-based JRPG, style, and going very much full force into an action RPG, which I'm totally fine with. And your main character has a pet dog that literally like fights with you. Like I don't need anything else. Like that.
Yeah.
That just sounds absolutely amazing. One of your main party members is Sid, because Sid is a character in every single game, and he's voiced by, I forget the actor, but I love his voice, and like he just seems like a total BA. Like this guy like sounds like he's going to be the best friend ever.
yeah.
And I'm just psyched for it. Like it just. I don't know too much about it, but from what I've heard, from what I've previewed, reviewed, I think this could be my game of the year. I think it could really blow me away.
Cool.
And that's what I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I actually moved my PlayStation to our upstairs TV, which is an OLED TV. So I will have to play it with headphones
Yeah.
too, because I don't want to wake like the baby or anything when I'm playing at night. And I'm just excited to your point, get the full like audio feel of it, because the music I'm sure is going to be incredible.
Yeah, it's such a more like personal feeling or experience whenever you are like playing with headphones. I was pretty surprised. I was playing Slime Rancher 2 on the Xbox just because it's on Game Pass, and the games are so much fun. And I'm finding myself like even just listening to the TV, I'm like, man, the music in this game is pretty good too. I tell you, indie games go like too hard on their music. It's like, man, some of these games have better audio than like AAA titles that I've heard. It's so cool.
It is. What's so funny is I'm actually playing a game on Game Pass right now too called Coffee Talk. and literally you're a bartender and all you do is make coffee for your customer that come in and listen to their stories and woes, and the music is just lo-fi. That's all it is. like very like chill, relaxing music, and I was like, okay, this is a very calming game. I like it.
It's
like,
a vibe.
And like the story of it is actually pretty funny. It's like you're set in this it's set in 2020, but the world is inhabited by like not fairy tale, I guess. Well, yeah, like fairy tale creatures. Like there's vampires and werewolves and elves and succubus and devils and stuff like that. And like some of these characters that come into your coffee shop, like there's an elf and a succubus that are in love, but they're not allowed to like be together because their races hate each other. And it's like, this is actually kind of like it's conflict that like, oh wow, like I kind of want to see where this goes. Like as each day comes in, they come in and they're like, oh, can I have an espresso? And then you have to make like literally the only gameplay in the game is you making the coffee. Otherwise you're reading that. It's like,
man, that is up your alley. Story driven. That's
Oh yeah. I'm all for it, man. It's been a lot of fun.
One quick thing too, you mentioned like the voice acting and stuff. One thing that I didn't realize, in Tears of the Kingdom, they got Matthew Mercer to do Ganon, or they got
Matthew Mercer?
Yeah, I guess like it's one of those things where it's like the villain looks like Ganon, but they call him, the Demon King, and it's like, okay, it looks like pretty sure it's Ganon. But yeah, so yeah, Matthew Mercer is the voice actor, and it's epic, man. It's pretty cool.
How freaking awesome!
Yeah, when I was like watching one of the cutscenes, I was like, man, why does it sound so familiar? And then someone in my chat was like, it's so cool they got Matthew Mercer to voice Ganon, and I was like, that's who it is. I'm like, this is so cool.
Literally from Critical Role. That's such
I know.
Cool, what a great. Can you imagine having that role under your belt? Of like,
yeah,
I voiced Ganondorf. Like one of the greatest villains of all time.
Because I remember one of his first things that I found out was McCree in like Overwatch. He was like the original McCree guy, the one who was always just like, it's high noon. He was like the OG of that. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And now he's Ganon. And it's like, geez, man, look where you started. Look where you're at. That's wild.
Wow. I didn't realize this, but he's been in so many video games.
Oh, yeah.
He played Yusuke in Persona 5.
Yep. Yeah. He's been around, man. It's pretty cool.
What else was he? I'm just looking at this up. This is fascinating. Wow. He was Goro Majima in Yakuza Like a Dragon. Holy crap. He was Pain in Naruto.
Oh. And like a game or like the
show?
Nuh-uh.
Dude, what?
Wow.
He was in Final Fantasy 15.
Wow. I am thoroughly impressed.
I am too. This dude has an incredible performance list.
And I feel like he's so loved by the community, so more people are like, well, keep bringing him on. It's just like set.
This guy's like up there with Troy Baker. This is impressive. Wow.
Yeah, he's kind of, to me, he's kind of like the Tara Strong of like the video game scene, like how she's like everywhere and like, kid animation stuff and games too, but like, her as like the, the Nickelodeon kind of stuff. It's kind of like that. Like he's like the video game of that one. Like people just loved his voice and then boom.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I don't want to keep you too long tonight because I know that we're both exhausted, but I can run us through real quick.
Yeah, I say let's bring it on.
Do you want to start with the PlayStation show? Let's start with the PlayStation showcase because there's not much to talk about there.
Okay.
So honestly, probably the biggest highlight from the PlayStation showcase for me, which wasn't that hype, because I think one of the reasons why it was a flop for a lot of people out there is there wasn't a lot of show for gameplay. It was a lot of CGI trailers. Just like very high level, like no clear indication of when these games are going to come out, which is very weird.
Yeah, I tell you, one way to get your community upset, show CGI with no release dates. And you will definitely have some enraged fans.
I think what's funny is I think when we were in high school and college, it was okay. Like for some reason,
100%.
Like back then, like you saw a CGI trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 and you like freaked out and you're like, oh my God, like it's real. Like that's all you cared about was that this is real, it's coming. Like
which like not to bring on that other tangent, but I think the reason why is because games are kind of a lie now. Like you would see CGI trailers and you're like, oh man, this game would be great. And then it would be. And then now you see CGI trailers and you're like, that could suck. So you just like don't know. It's pretty unfortunate.
Well, what's different now too, and I'm sure, we've seen this now for years. And I think it's because of, like you said, these CGI trailers kind of like push an agenda of marketing of like, ooh, buy this game just because of how cool this looks without really telling you how it really plays. Now, in these type of CGI trailers, there's like a little asterisk with a sentence that says not actual gameplay. Like not actual footage of in-game. And it's really funny to me. So for me, the biggest announcement from the PlayStation Showcase was the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I freaked out. I did not know this was coming. Still feels kind of weird that it's happening without Kojima, but
Yeah.
like I don't know. Maybe it's literally just a remake of the game, and if it's that, I'm definitely going to get it because I am a huge Metal Gear fan, and I had missed those games for a very we haven't had one since Phantom Pain, which came out almost 10 years ago, and there's just something about Solid Snake and his story, and like it just I love those games. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I listened to IGN's gaming podcast. I always forget what the name of it is. No, maybe I think it's like Game Scoop or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Game Scoop, yeah.
But they so they did talk about that game, and they did say that like, you know, the voice actors, they're not like revoicing anything like that. So I don't know like how much of the remake they're gonna go on. I think when they kind of heard a few things, people are like, oh, so like what is this gonna be? Like how much into a remake? Like I feel like
it's gonna go.
I think it's definitely gonna be more than a remaster, but I don't know if it's gonna be like a, you know, like a Final Fantasy VII like level, which I feel like it's fine because the game is like what console did that come out on?
PS2.
Okay, yeah,
and honestly, I thought it was a perfect game. Like even at the time, I was like, this game is it's one of my favorite Metal Gears. It's a lot of people's favorite Metal Gear. And it's really the start of the full story.
Oh, cool.
Because it's like when Snake is at his youngest, his code name is Naked Snake. He's not yet Solid Snake. He doesn't become Solid Snake until a pivotal moment at the end of Snake Eater.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's another one of those series where like I don't know how much Metal Gear Solid you've ever played, but like the lore and the story of the series is very deep. In terms of the characters and their code names and everything like that. So like a lot of this stuff probably doesn't mean anything. But like,
I've only played like, Phantom Pain. At least the one I've ever played.
Phantom Pain. Yeah. And that one isn't Solid Snake. That one's Big Boss.
Yeah.
Big Boss. And what's funny is that there's like so many characters that look the same, but they're different people. And like, what's funny is in Snake Eater, that is Big Boss before he becomes Big Boss. At the time, his name is just Naked Snake. And this is kind of spoilery for anyone that hasn't played these games, but I just wanted to give you like the rundown of the names real quick, which is, I think they're very funny. So in Snake Eater, the main character's name, who is Naked Snake, that's his code name. His boss is called The Boss. That's her name, The Boss. And you have to defeat her and kill her at the end of the game. And then you become the boss, but you refuse to take the title, so they call you Big Boss. And then you have a son, or that character, like from Phantom Pain, has a son, who he also calls, his code name is also Snake, but his code name is Solid Snake. And so that's the one that you is referenced from like Super Smash Brothers and like
okay.
He's the one in Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2. That's Solid.
Oh, interesting.
The son. He has the son. And then in Metal Gear Solid 4, Sons of the Patriots, which is my personal favorite Metal Gear game, he is Old Snake because he's an old man now.
This is the son, or is this Big Boss?
No, this is the son. His name is Old Snake. He kills
What
Big
a
Boss.
weird timeline. What in the world?
Yeah, the games all came out at like random times and like out of chronological order. And then like once they were all released, like they announced like, oh, here's the order to play them in if you want to like see the story.
What a Kojima thing to do.
I know. But like it's great. Like the story is truly enticing and like it's just espionage gameplay at its best. You know, like this is that game I told you about where I was playing it and I always try to play the games through like a no-kill run.
Yeah.
Like you don't kill anybody, you just use a tranquilizer. And even the bosses, you can get away with not killing the bosses. And I always try to play through them the first time with a no-kill run. And Julie was watching me play it and she was like, shoot him.
Kill him.
Kill him. use the grenade launcher. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. It's so funny. But I digress. I took up way too much time talking about my love for Metal Gear. Sorry. Really, the other big announcements from the PlayStation Showcase, there's this new game coming out called Phantom Blade Zero, which has really incredible looking gameplay. It's like a Chinese kung fu steampunk kind of game that has very big action, probably the fastest action I've ever seen in gameplay, where I'm like, is this controllable? Like, this is kind of crazy how fast this character is moving. I would highly recommend checking that out if you have any love for action games. Phantom Blade Zero looks incredible. And then really the only other ones that really caught my eye were Dragon's Dogma 2, which is I'm definitely stoked for. I love Dragon's Dogma. And then for those that love Assassin's Creed, there's a new Assassin's Creed game coming out, which
Mirage, I think.
Yeah, Mirage. And I think what's actually, I always get my hopes up with Assassin's Creed. I don't know why I'm doing it. But apparently they're really like trimming down this one so that it's almost like they're trying to go back to the roots of like the original Assassin's Creed games. So it's going to be a smaller map, a shorter game, and really focus more on like the assassinations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually kind of for, because I liked Origins, I liked Valhalla, I liked Odyssey, but I could never play them through because they were just too big. I was just like, there's too much game. There's too much to do, and I don't care enough to do it all. Like, you're not grabbing me. But yeah, so those are like the big takeaways. There was Spider-Man 2, but I got an even crazier announcement on that one from the Summer Game Fest.
Oh, sweet.
But do you have any questions over anything I talked on from PlayStation's showcase? Or
No, I mean, yeah, I heard some of it. Like, I heard the Assassin's Creed. Like you, I'm I'm excited, like passively excited. Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 are still my all-time favorites, and I feel like they're trying to get back to that. So that'll be nice. Just because, I mean, I think I played the first Assassin's Creed game, on Xbox 360. The game came out, gosh, I don't even know when, a long time ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
No.
and 2007. Yeah. So almost.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, I'm excited, but I'm not putting enough energy to get like hyped about it. I think it'll be kind of cool. And yeah, I mean, Metal Gear sounds fun. I'd be interested in. I may like do one of those watch Rad Brad kind of play through it because I know he'll more than likely get it, and so yeah,
it's
excited.
It's honestly a great place to start if you've never played any of the other Metal Gears other than Phantom Pain.
Yeah,
because it is the start of the whole story. Is Metal Gear Solid 3, which is probably why they started there. To kind of like remake the journey again, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm with you. It was just a very I was shocked at how let down I was by the PlayStation showcase.
Yeah,
because normally I would go into it thinking this is going to be my showcase of the year, and it was very much not. Like the Summer Games Fest was much better, and I'm actually now more stoked for the Xbox showcase than I ever was before because I want to see what free games I'm going to play for Game Pass. Like I'm ready to see what I'm getting. Okay. Big items from Summer Games Fest. Spider-Man 2 was shown again, and it was given the release date. They gave us October 20th.
Oh, okay.
Release of Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
And they announced that you are not staying in Manhattan. You can still go to Manhattan, but you are also going to be able to go to Queens and Brooklyn.
Oh, we joked about that. How I was like, I don't want to stay in the same map because
the same map again.
I played the heck out of the first game. I don't want to like be in the same area the whole time.
And honestly, when I think about it, Manhattan as like an area wasn't that big. Like you could kind of zip from one end of the island to the other fairly quickly, within like a few minutes. The fact that we now get to branch out into Queens and Brooklyn,
that's cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. They did say that you can kind of during story missions, there are certain moments when you can flip between Miles and Peter.
Yeah.
But outside of story missions, you can kind of flip between them whenever you want, kind of thing.
I talked to somebody on stream about that. How funny would it be if they did it kind of Grand Theft Auto 4 like, or Grand Theft Auto 5, whichever one it was, and like where you would just like flip to a new character and they're doing the most random thing ever. Like I would love to see what happens. It's like
you go Peter's like playing basketball with some kids.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be really fun. I hope they like. I hope they have fun with that, with the switching.
Yeah, I hope so too. Because that was one of the things that I thought was really endearing about the first game was whenever you had to go through like those fast. I never really did fast travel that much in Spider-Man, but when you did, it was funny to see like Spider-Man on the 8 train or something like that, like going through his cell phone. And like, I love those little things. I think what's really exciting is that, this is going to be only on PS5. And they showed that Miles now has his glider suit.
Oh, so, cool.
Like he can like fly now instead of, you don't have to worry so much about webbing. You can like glide. And when Miles is gliding, at least in the gameplay they've shown, he is moving so fast. And it just like really shows off the power of the system of like, you are like buildings are a blur. Like you are moving so quickly through the map and it's loading as you're going where it's like, wow. Like it kind of reminded me of, like I said, of like Phantom Blade Zero, of like, I can't believe that we now can have gameplay that is this fast.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
So I'm really excited about that. Really excited about the villain of both Venom and I always forget his name.
Oh, Kraven?
Kraven, thank you. I think that both of them together are going to be great villains. I'm sure that at the end of the game, they're going to tease Green Goblin for Spider-Man 3. Probably Carnage, too, would be really cool. We've got to get Carnage at some point. In my head, I'm like, okay, Spider-Man 3, the end of the trilogy, it's going to be Carnage and Green Goblin. Like that. Like, it's just got to be. Like those are the two big ones. Okay, moving forward. They announced a new Prince of Persia game.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever played those, but this one's going to be very different. It's called The Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and it's going to be a side-scrolling action platformer. So,
cool.
Whereas whereas like the original games were third person action platforming. This is going to be side scrolling to the effect of like Castlevania, but you're playing Prince of Persia.
Sweet.
I'm totally down for it because I'm a huge Prince of Persia fan. But that looked really cool. They showed Mortal Kombat 1. So they're coming out with the next entry in the Mortal Kombat game. I guess they're restarting it. I really don't know too much about Mortal Kombat. I'm not really good at the fighting games, but people were really hyped about that with Mortal Kombat 1. Fortnite is getting a Transformers crossover.
Ooh, fun.
They're saying like Chapter 4, Season 3.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow.
Yeah, so you're getting Optimus Prime and some other characters, Starscream.
Oh, man.
These like Transformer characters.
I'll have to watch that later.
Yeah, that trailer's on YouTube. That actually does look really cool. They are coming out with kind of a sequel to Sonic Mania called Sonic Superstars. So it's a new 2D classic Sonic game.
Cool. Those usually do well.
Yeah, it's brand new maps. So it's like
good.
Whereas like in Sonic Mania, like I loved Sonic Mania, but it was very much like them.
It's like a redo kind of, right?
Yeah, it was like revamping like the best maps from the original 3 games. But this is all brand new maps and it's co-op. You can play with up to 4 players.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like there's 4 characters to play as: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, of course, and then Amy Rose. So you can play as Amy if you wanted to.
She's the
pink hedgehog.
Pink one, yeah.
Yep, so that looked really cool. Alan Wake 2 got a huge gameplay reveal.
Good.
Did you ever play Control? I can't remember.
No. I Peter did.
Yeah, Control was a great game, but it's set in that universe, in that like supernatural universe of Alan Wake, and so this is a sequel to that. This looks like it's going to be very much like a Resident Evil, Last of Us style third person.
It's like survival
shooter.
Kind of
survival horror shooter. Yeah, like this is very much horror.
Okay.
So part of me is very interested. Part of me is very scared to play it because I'm a chicken when it comes to horror games.
Yes, same.
Especially like if I'm gonna have to play with headphones on, I don't know how I'll survive it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it or not. We'll see. Then they showed Like a Dragon Gaiden. So this is kind of like the in-between game.
Yeah.
Before last Like a Dragon 8. Where this one is you play as Kazuma Kiryu again from like the original first 6 games. And it's kind of about the full title is Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name. And it's literally about, that comes out in November. It's about Kazuma Kiryu. He's an old man, but has to come out of hiding to protect Japan again. And I'm a sucker for these games. You know me, I'm a huge Yakuza fan, and they just keep making more of them, and I just keep playing them because they're amazing.
So who was Keeley? I think that's his last name, right? Was he the guy who was hosting this? The one that always does the game?
Keeley.
So it wasn't like a so this Summer Games one, this first one, was it like a PC showcase, a Switch? Like, did they have like a specific? It was just more of just like, hey, here's just some games, and it's summertime.
Yeah, well, he never really gets Nintendo. Nintendo never really reveals anything outside of their own directs. It's really hard to get anything from Nintendo, if at all. But it's not just all PC. Jeff Keighley just kind of pulls developers from Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Japan. He gets them all to come together onto one stage and like just show your games. Like,
Gotcha.
Doesn't matter if you're Xbox, PlayStation, PC. Just bring them to me and we'll show them off. Which is really cool. So yeah, he got like games from Square Enix, Capcom, Sega. Like they just kind of showed all the games here, which is really cool. Let me see. The Expanse. So Telltale is back, and they're making The Expanse.
Wait, like the books that we read, like that Expanse? Yeah. That's right. Expanse. I heard about that. They finally like confirmed it and stuff.
It looks freaking awesome, man.
Oh snap!
I am very excited, and it looks like they're following the first book.
Dude, they talked about this, like teasing it, I feel like years ago. That is so cool. It's finally getting some publicity. Yeah,
and it comes out July.
Whoa.
It comes out next month.
What?
They're just dropping it.
Dang. Yeah, I'm on their website now. Oh my gosh, this is going to be fun.
Right? I'm so excited for it, man, because I'm about to start the third book. But yeah, it looks great, and I'm excited that they're back with better leadership, thankfully. But
yeah,
they've been working on this and The Wolf Among Us season 2. So
dang,
yeah,
cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. This one's kind of fun. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not, but Akira Toriyama and Bandai Namco are teaming up to make a game called Sandland, which has Akira Toriyama's signature art style, like from Dragon Ball. And you play as this boy who has a giant mech in this desert land, and you're tasked to save the world. So it looks very anime, very action style game, but I'm down for it. I love the Dragon Quest games that have that same art style. Like it's a very unique art style, which I'm very excited for. There's a game called Pal World, which is kind of like Pokemon, but it's creatures with guns. Literally, it's a game about collecting monster friends and then equipping them with guns. Sure.
January 2024, Pal World, a brand new multiplayer open world survival crafting game. Dude,
Yeah.
this world has gotten so wild in their game descriptions. Multiplayer open world survival crafting game.
I feel like it's Chat GPT at this point. It's just like, just write up a description of this for us. Like,
Genre: role-playing video game, shooter game, indie game, adventure game, fighting game, early access. As if early access is a genre. Wow, that's so funny.
so funny. Let's see. They showed Banishers again. This was a game that you and I were really interested in from last year. I forget what the showcase was last year that we watched, but it's that game called Banishers.
Was it Game of the Year when they exposed this? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I just remember seeing the trailer for it, and I was like, "This looks really cool." 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, you like fight with ghosts, like ghosts
Yeah.
kind of like meeting you. I liked the look of it. Yeah, very excited for that one. They showed a game. A trailer for Baldur's Gate 3. But get this. The major villain of Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be voiced by Jason Isaacs. Lucius Malfoy.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I'm kind of stoked about that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, to get a major actor like that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Larian Studios, man, they've been really
But I love Jason Isaacs.
yeah, it's a wild storyline. It is super, super out there. But Larian Studios does a really good job at like making just like their games really fun to explore, so it should be good.
Nice. Yeah, I think when it comes out, you'll have to tell me the story because I'm interested in it. I don't know if I'll ever play it.
Yeah.
So then Marvel Snap was announced as getting a conquest mode. I guess like it's like a single elimination tournament in the game. And it's also getting a card game. Marvel Snap is. Yeah.
Wait, Marvel Snap isn't that card game? What's that card game that they have?
Oh, I don't know. Is it already a card game, maybe? I just thought it was the app on the phone.
Yeah, isn't it? It's like, well, I guess it's not a card game. Yeah, I mean, like you use cards, but I guess it's not like, yeah, because like you battle with cards. So I wonder if they're making like an actual like more, because it's not card game in the sense of like you draw cards and you place them down like you would in like a Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like you put your cards down in like 3 swim lanes and you try to control the zone and like I don't know. It's weird. It's a total different take on a card game. So I wonder if they're trying to like add a new layer to it or not. That's cool.
Maybe.
It's addicting. That game is crazy addicting.
I bet. Oh my gosh. All right, and then I got a few more here.
Okay.
Lies of P. I don't know if you've heard of this one, but it's a Souls-like.
Oh, jeez.
It looks gorgeous. But it follows Pinocchio. Like the main character's Pinocchio as a real boy, and you're fighting
Oh, wow.
like French mechs, like giant French mechs.
I remember seeing this.
I'm not lying. Like this game looks gorgeous. Like I was like, wow. Like this was one of the most beautiful games I saw at Summer's Game Fest. I was like, and they released a demo of it today that I honestly may try. I'm not big into Souls games. Elden Ring was the one that like got me somewhat interested. So I might try this one because I really like the vibe of it.
Yeah. The photos I'm looking at look pretty good.
Yeah, it looks great. Witchfire. This was one that Peter was really excited for. Early access is coming for it in September. But it's made by id, or I think id did like it's like a first person shooter, but like you're a witch hunter. Looks really cool. And then let me see if there's anything else before I jump to the big one. Just going through. Okay, I think I covered most everything. but they ended the showcase, or the Summer Games Fest, I should call it. They ended it by revealing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, wow, they did.
Yeah.
Dang.
They showed, like, I freaked out. They showed some gameplay, some story, and that it'll release in early 2024 on the PS5 only. And if you buy it physically, it comes with 2 discs.
Oh, wow.
Like this game is massive. It's like open world, which that was kind of like my big thing. Like, because in Final Fantasy VII Remake, we only got through Midgar. So it was semi-open world. You kind of just had zones of the city. But I was wondering how they were going to handle that. Like how in the original game, after you leave the city, you just have this vast open world with towns and cities as you go. And it looks like they're going to be true to that and just give it a full open world. At least from what I can see. It could be that they're just giant subworlds. But it kind of reminds me from the gameplay that they showed, it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 15. Because Final Fantasy 15 was open world. It just wasn't a vast open world.
What's interesting is that, like, I'm reading this article from Video Games Chronicle, and it says Square Enix has said players won't need to have experienced Final Fantasy VII Remake in order to enjoy its follow-up, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We have made preparations so that players who did not get a chance to play the first game can fully enjoy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, co-director Matomu Toyama said. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, normally when they say things like that, it usually means that they put in like recap, like option in the main menu of like, hey, watch this if you haven't played the first game. And it's usually like a 15-minute like video showing all the main points of the previous games. The reason I say that is because the Yakuza games are kind of like that. They're all like a single story. Like a Dragon was kind of a break. Like it was a new main character, new storyline, so you didn't really have to know anything about the previous games. But in every other Yakuza game that follows Kazuma, there's always a recap option in the main menu where you select it, and then it's like, what story do you want to hear about? Yakuza 1, Yakuza 2, Yakuza 3, like...
Cool, okay.
Where do you want to come in? So I'm sure it'll probably be something like that, most likely. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I'm like, especially with how Remake ended, I was like, people are going to be so lost when they jump into this game. Like, all of a sudden, you're just playing as these, like, 5 misfit characters in the open world, and you're like, wait, why are they all together? What's going on?
Yeah, especially with the big change of, like, who's there now. It's like, wait, what? Yeah. How is he there?
Right, like Zack, like it's... Well, that's going to be what's interesting and kind of for... Well, did you play Final Fantasy VII Remake, or was it
just... No, I got bored.
You got bored? That's okay. Well... Yeah, spoilers for everyone listening. If you haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake, don't listen. So, at the end of the game, it becomes apparent that this is not really a remake of Final Fantasy VII. It's more of a successor.
A rebirth.
So basically, Well, like during the last fight of the game, the storyline has, at this point, very much pivoted from in some ways, not always, but in a small but very severe way, it has pivoted from the original PS1 game. And you're like, wait, what's going on? And all of a sudden the main characters are having visions of things that happen in the original game. And they're like, whoa, like what's going on? Like, why am I seeing this? Like, what does this mean? And one of the characters says, this is what will happen if we don't change our fate. And so they change their fate at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it creates a whole new timeline. And like they kind of travel into a different timeline, like it's time travel basically, but and in this new timeline, or in a timeline that they just left, potentially even, Zack Fair, who is a character and friend of Cloud, the main character, survives when in the original story he is killed. And so it's
huge plot change.
Yeah, it's a huge plot change. I'm actually very excited about it because Peter and I really love Zach as a character. But it's very much one of those things where it's like, are we going to switch between playing as Cloud to Zach in these two different timelines? Because they're not alive in the same timeline. They're on different timelines. But there's no real indication of what the story of this is going to be now, because it's just very different. The only thing that's driving our characters at this point is to go after Sephiroth and to stop him and to stop him from destroying the world still, which is the same as the original game, but we're in very much a different set of circumstances this time around. And it's just very exciting to see. I think just like the first game, there's going to be a lot of familiar story beats. There's going to be a lot of like, oh, okay, we're like, if you watch the gameplay trailer, like the game looks gorgeous. But it's like, oh, here's Junon, here's the Chocobo Ranch, here's, Cosmo Canyon, like all these places, like key story beats in the original game that I'm very excited to see remade. I don't think they'll deviate too much from those moments. What'll be very interesting is to see what they do with Aerith. And how they'll handle
I'm pretty confused now of like, man, anything can happen. She could stay. Who knows?
Well, and now from the trailer, like they're kind of showing that like, oh, back in like there's this moment like you played in Crisis Core, but basically it's the moment where it's the moment where Sephiroth becomes the villain, right? Like he kind of snaps mentally and burns down,
realizes who he is, and it's like burns down Nibelheim. I think that's a very iconic video game moment. Like even if you've never played Final Fantasy VII, like you know what that is. Like it's just kind of broken the zeitgeist in that way. But in that moment, that's when Cloud kills Sephiroth or like defeats him when he's just a no-name grunt. But Tifa tries to take down Sephiroth in the game and he kind of swats her away. And then Cloud comes in and, runs after Sephiroth and does his thing. But in the trailer for this game, it shows it as if Sephiroth kills Tifa. Oh,
and so
wow.
And so it's like, wait, like if he killed Tifa in this timeline that we're in now, right? Who is the Tifa that we're traveling with, kind of thing? Like that's like kind of the question they're throwing at you from this trailer. It's like who
so weird.
It's so weird, but it's like intriguing to me. Like it's like, oh, like this is kind of fun because like I know the original story back to front. It's my favorite video game at the time.
Yeah.
So now you're throwing these curveballs at me and I'm like very interested to see like how is this all going to tie together? Like are you going to do something completely different? And they've already said like this is the midpoint, right? Like there's going to be one more Final Fantasy VII game after this one, and they're all titled with like re. So it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then the last one is going to be one last title. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be Revive or like something like that, but I don't know. We'll see. But very excited for it. It comes in early 2024, which probably means like February or April, most likely.
Cool.
So I'm hyped. And that's it, man. That's all the games.
Cool. No, that's a pretty big list already. It's kind of interesting to see like what's going to be some follow-up from this, especially with just kind of like the schedule that they have in hand. Like was like Summer Game Fest that happened today. They also had like Devolver Digital's thing, and then now on so they're taking a break tomorrow. I assume if this is a live thing, maybe there's just like some stuff happening at the place where it's happening at, and then it looks like we got Wholesome Direct 2023 on the 10th.
I'm actually excited for that one, honestly, on Saturday.
What is that?
So from what I've heard, Wholesome Direct is like just a bunch of cute video games that are like E for everyone, that just make you feel warm and fuzzy. And they're just showing them all off in this wholesome one. So,
Well, that's cool. We need that in our lives.
yeah, we need a little bit of that. So I'm hoping that I get at least 1 or 2 games from that direct that like makes me interested of like, oh, I'd play that kind of thing, you know, like the bear owning a
oh man, I know. I can't wait for them to update that game and make it a lot more about the owning the inn. That'll be cool when that game gets better.
Yeah, because didn't you say like it's still in beta or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. It's like it's not the game that I want it to be yet. I want it to be more about like more Stardew Valley of like, you just go around, you own these places, these inns, and you try to make money. Like that's what I'm interested in too. But we'll see. And then we got Future Games Show also on the 10th. And then on the 11th is Xbox and PC. Xbox also including their Starfield Direct, which is going to begin right after they end their show. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Xbox kicks off around 1 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah. And I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. 1 o'clock Eastern. And I don't even know. It may be like 30 minutes or an hour. And then the Starfield one would be 30 minutes. And then we have the PC game show at 4 o'clock. And that'll conclude our Sunday. And then it looks like Capcom and Ubisoft are finishing it off on the 12th.
Yeah.
Ubisoft being... Yeah. Ubisoft being at 1, Capcom being at 6. More than likely, we'll probably see more of Mirage to kind of get more of an idea of what they're wanting to do with that. And then, Capcom probably talk about Street Fighter, maybe like Resident Evil stuff, Dragon's Dogma. Should be some cool things to come. So
is it bad that I want them to announce another Ace Attorney game at the Capcom show? I don't think we'll get that, but
But yeah, so this weekend looks like it's going to be pretty good with some games coming out. Now I'm excited about the Xbox One. I know you and I like briefly kind of mentioned how like, I mean, when it comes to like Starfield and like what they're doing, it's like a little nervous because of I don't know, when people do these segments directly about their game, like not even just like, oh, it's after the show and like not that many people are like watching them, but like when you're saying like, hey, we are doing a Starfield Direct. I mean, like we saw Cyberpunk do that. More than likely, I mean, I can't think of them off the top of my head. I know there's probably been other games. It's just like I feel like whenever these games dedicate this much of like the effort onto it of like, we are doing a full 30-minute, full-fledged, nothing but talking about this game, and even like not thinking of other developers. Like when Bethesda does this in the past, I just feel like it hasn't really like gone out well. Like they did it for the most recent Fallout 4. And then, well, I guess 76 is the most recent, and they did it with that. Like Fallout 4, they had like a big thing about it, and people enjoyed the game, but it wasn't something that they loved. And then Fallout 76, and they really went hard on being like, look at how great, this is going to be awesome. It's going to have this, it's going to have that. And then again, it just didn't do that well. And now you are dedicating an entire segment of probably like the hour and a half, 2 hours that you were given. And you're saying, okay, like Starfield comes out. I don't even know. I have no idea when it comes out. I know it comes out this year. Can't really say.
It comes out, I think September.
Okay.
But I think part of the reason why they're doing it is honestly, this is like the last like first party like big Xbox game coming out this year, and they really need it to hit. They really need it to land. Because Redfall was such a huge disappointment.
Oh yeah, dude, they better be dropping some bombs on Game Pass.
And that's why I'm saying like why the Xbox showcase has me the most excited. Like I want this Xbox showcase to be the best one of them all because I want them to come out and just be like, here's everything coming out in the rest of 2023 and all of 2024. Coming to Game Pass, big awesome games. Show me what you got coming, because you have all these studios now. Where are the games? Like you got to show us stuff.
I know, and that Redfall flop was so bad on just like so many levels. Everybody calls it like the I forgot like what the meme is. They like say it's like, oh, that game got Game Passed or something like that, just meaning like it was a game that was put out day one on Game Pass, and so it just stunk.
Right. And yeah, I don't want that for Game Pass either. You know, like I want Game Pass to be something that like I want to continually pay for, because there are so many great games on there to play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's at a weird time. I'm not gonna lie. Sunday at 1. That's a weird one. I was kind of hoping it was gonna be like Saturdays.
Yeah,
but we'll see. But no, cool stuff to hear. Final Fantasy is exciting. The Miles Morales and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, that's really cool. Hearing that we're going to be going to new islands. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty good Game Fest so far.
Yeah, I've thoroughly been enjoying it. I think that, you know, there's at least one game that I'm excited for every month for the rest of the year, which is
that's
all I
always
could ask
good.
for.
Yeah.
You know, like that's. I have a very, I won't say limited range of like types of games I like to play, but like, you know, I don't like a lot of like big, huge titles that people tend to play. Like, I'm not a huge shooter guy. I'm not a huge like fighting game guy. I'm just very much like story focused and RPG. Like Starfield could be something that catches my attention. Like if it's good,
Yeah.
so I really want it to be good because I like Bethesda as well. Yeah, I'm excited. Last thing I wanted to note before we wrap up is they have officially, Atlas has officially announced they're remaking Persona 3 in Persona 5 format, and it looks freaking awesome.
Yeah,
and
it does.
I'm really excited to play that next year. I'm kind of glad I didn't just replay Persona 3 again. I ended up just playing Persona 4 because I was playing Persona 3 and I didn't like the visual novel style of it. I didn't like that they chose that version. Now I kind of get it why they did, because they were like, well, we're going to release the true version of this game.
So give it time.
Yeah, a reloaded version, and it looks amazing. And I love that it's still that like dark blue, that like really like kind of rapping vibe. With the music, and I hope that it like pulls you and Peter into play it if you like Persona 5, because it's a great game.
I'm definitely looking forward to that one for sure. So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I want them to announce Persona 6. I want to see that at some point.
I know.
Can that be at the Xbox showcase? Because that would be amazing for them to announce Persona 6.
Holy cow, that would help them out.
I mean, a lot of people have hinted that the color and the vibe of Persona 6 is going to be green. Because 3 was blue, 4 was yellow, 5 was red. And 6, they're saying, is probably going to be green. Microsoft is green, so like it kind of I know it's a dumb like connection, but like Xbox announced that Persona 3 and Persona 4 and Persona 5 were coming to their system. Like that's where it was announced that they were re-releasing 3 and 4 on all consoles. So it's like it doesn't seem too far-fetched to me that Persona 6 could be announced at the Xbox showcase.
We'll see. I'm excited for that. That'd be cool. That'd be epic.
Yeah, I would be like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing,
man. If they like talked about Skyrim again too, I think like the last time we were given like a teaser, which was literally just a mountain showing on a video.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. I think we had that was like. Oh gosh, I don't even know. That was also the same year that they announced Starfield as well, and all they did was give it a title.
I don't think we're going to see Elder Scrolls 6 for quite a while, honestly.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me.
They've been focusing so much on Starfield that they're probably waiting until Starfield is out to then say, okay, here's Elder Scrolls 6.
To like
yeah.
see what's gonna happen with it or not.
Now, here's my question for you. Do you think Ubisoft finally shows us Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Nah, no way. I don't.
No.
I feel
I
like
don't think that game's coming out.
I feel like
don't think
they've
it's
scrapped it. They just won't say they've scrapped it. There's just like
it's weird because they've shown that they've told that they've scrapped so many other games that they're doing. Ubisoft is honestly in pretty bad financial straits right now. Like they're as a company, they're not doing well.
yeah, bro. I'll be honest, they kind of suck. I'm not a fan of them anymore. They've really gone downhill, and it's so sad.
They just like lost their like spark when it comes to games. Like they just kind of like are following the trends and making the worst versions of them.
Kind of like,
really,
kind of like
the
Sony
only-
wanting to make a free shooter game.
Yeah, like literally, I think the only two franchises from Ubisoft that I still really love are the Mario Rabbids games
yeah.
and Just Dance. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, really. Which, funny enough, Just Dance probably makes them so much money.
oh, it probably does, honestly. But they're just like holding on to Assassin's Creed for dear life at this point.
Yeah.
They're just like, this is the
I'm not
only
gonna
thing
give
that
up.
they're keeping us afloat. So it makes sense that they're trying to go back to their roots with that because they probably are seeing that the sales are really starting to like go down a little bit, and they're like, we
Yeah.
need to go back to our roots.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
We'll see what happens.
Well, cool. I do gotta start heading out.
Yeah.
The
Me too.
the game that I've been playing right now, I already let you guys know it has been Zelda. Have you been playing anything that you want to kind of give some light to?
Yeah, just very quickly. I've been playing 3 games at the moment in my spare time. I'm playing Coffee Talk on Game Pass. This is a fun one. Actually, I guess I'm just playing 2 games. Coffee Talk on Game Pass and The Last Story on Wii. I recently just got
Oh, sweet.
a Wii again with a lot of games on it. And I've been trying to now play a lot of like fun RPGs on the Wii that I never got to play originally, and it's really great.
Cool.
I really love it. Yeah, I just finished Xenoblade Chronicles 3 not too long ago, and like a Persona 4 I just finished as well on Xbox. So got 2 big JRPGs out of the way, and so I'm just trying to cleanse the palate before
Oh,
Final
fancy.
Fantasy 16 takes over my life. So
Nice. Yeah, no, that's
in
awesome.
a few weeks, in a few days, it comes out in like less than 15 days.
Yeah, here we go.
2 weeks
Exciting times.
officially. 2 weeks officially till 16.
Well, very
right.
cool. Appreciate you joining. Appreciate anybody who listened to us. As always, you can find us on YouTube at Calling All Nerds. You can also listen to us on any of your favorite major podcasting sites out there. Amazon, Spotify, Apple, Google. We got them all. So we're on there too. YouTube is always fun. You can watch us live, interact with us, let us know maybe where we're getting our facts right or wrong, and chime in. We don't have any notifications on, but we do see the chat. I am looking at it, so I will see you if you chat. We just may not get to you right away, but it's still fun to kind of join us live. But yeah, you can listen to us on any of your major podcasting sites. If you have not already, make sure to give the video on YouTube a thumbs up. Give us a rating on the podcast site of your choice, because it really does help with kind of like the overall exposure of our podcast to others. And yeah, you can find us anywhere, Calling All Nerds. We're not really much social media people, so really you'll just kind of see us on YouTube and on other sites. So outside of that, I think that's all I have for you guys. Max, any final words?
No, just I hope everyone has a great summer. Really just go out there and try out these amazing games. This has been an amazing year for video games. Please go out and enjoy all that's out there. I hope everyone has a great night. Stay safe.
Talk to you all later. Peace.
Bye.